blip, 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 blip. This is the sound that the mind makes when mapping different connections to each other, from one concept to another, from trying to relay different signals with electricity from one synapse to another, and connectivity. It's trying to develop little vines that do streak down from where the thoughts think from and where the thoughts think down. Those synapses are pushing out in differing sides, and it is a matter of focusing on certain things. That is an energy that has to do with developing vines from thoughts that are things to begin with. It's worth acknowledging that thoughts are things to begin with. Once you think of thoughts as things, then you can try to post different parts that are connected in different ways by different vines in different parts of the mind, by doing somewhat of a mind map that is endless on an infinite whiteboard in your mind. And all of these thoughts have the ability to have differing vines spawn from them, different days and different times, and different parts of your mind will conceptually leak together. They'll find differing connections to be able to throw differing little lapsing portions of their arms to connect with each other and grab fingers with one another. Somehow, sometimes, some days, even while you're sleeping, it's like they are then connected and developing pipelines for energy to flow. And that's almost like developing a business with the mind map, with the essence, with the energies that have to do with developing not just a mind map but a wireframe, which has to do with energy flows, and not just business energy but also monetary energy, because they are one thing as a whole. They connect together, they combine together, they are a business vehicle, and the monetary energy is like the fuel for that business vehicle to be able to flow through those vines and those veins of concept passageways that are connected in terms of potential for spaces for this business to be able to grow and ways for it to be able to flow. And at the same time, all thoughts are like different veins for each other to be able to work off from each other, and as a result it develops a network and a continuous pipeline of differing directions for ways for growth to happen, for growth to unfold, for growth to find its ways in different finding spaces, in different ways to find spaces. And if you're finding spaces, then you're finding new conceptual ways for conceptual collaborations, for your own thoughts to be able to collaborate, and for your own thoughts to be able to find new ways to develop their own collaborations on their own. You're teaching them how to collaborate on their own, and by doing that, they develop different ways for different results to be able to happen, because you're just sort of a part of the process where you're just sort of the vessel for your thoughts to be able to blossom from when you program yourself the right way, because the thoughts are energies and they have their abilities to be able to flow and grow by themselves if you leave them to do what nature wants them to do and tells them to do. When you let nature's energies organically grab hold of them and flow with them and float with them in nature's mindset of time and time and time and time as floating forward, and it grabs all of your thoughts and develops them onto like this large whiteboard inside of your mind that is endless, and all of these thoughts are different pictures that are painted in different parts of the mind, and they flow together like different vines and different pieces of electricity at the same time that conceptually connect also with cells and cellular energy, which is also helping you grow by collaborations from different thoughts and things that are happening inside of your mind. Whoa, and the mind is a powerful thing, so you can never not call thoughts as things, because they are things and they exist as things and they develop experiences, and so therefore they are as real as nouns and things that exist in the real world, like the physical in real life world. Yeah. And at the same time, developing an entrepreneurship mindset in this fashion, having this type of mindset in terms of the internal mindset, it causes the mind to be able to wander outdoors and never turn off. And at the same time, if you're not doing this type of mindset where you have your thoughts programmed to be able to be floating and expanding in an outward fashion, to be able to try to connect with other thoughts you're continuing to find, then by doing this, you end up turning your mind in a process that it never goes latent. It's always active, and it's always continuously searching for new thoughts of value. It's always searching all around the world for new thoughts of value. It's always painting the picture for new thoughts to be able to connect with each other, and developing the synapse in this endless whiteboard, in this infinite whiteboard in your brain that continues to develop vines, and differing energy connective processes and ropes and pulleys and such things that are able to continue to connect and develop flow and flowing energies. That it's an ongoing plate spinning, like differing plates with different pulleys connecting all of them in different ways, like an engine type of process. And there's constant collaborations that's always unfolding and refolding and recontextualizing with each other. And the difference between having this entrepreneurship mindset and not having this entrepreneurship mindset is similar to like being outside and going for a walk, and then having the first negative thought when you're outside. Then you have the inclination to go home, and then you want to go home, and then you want to go inside, and you want to sit there for the rest of the time. Whereas if your mindset is outside, it's outside working. In a theoretical sense, if your mindset is constantly looking for new thoughts and scavenging for new thoughts in an outdoor sense, then technically it doesn't feel like just going home if it feels one negative thought, because it knows around another door, another corner, opening another door, opening and turning another corner is conceptually a new piece of value, a new conceptual thought to be able to add to the mind map that is a greater mind map that is continually adding value to itself in a greater process, with a no wrong answers process to it, because you're constantly looking for assets and an asset mindset that you're trying to continuously grow. And in this fashion, in this process, in this way of going about it, sometimes you experience the downs, and then you do not want to go home. You don't mentally want to go home. You don't mentally want to tuck in for the night. You don't mentally want to go to sleep for the night. Mentally, you want to mentally stay awake. You want to mentally see what's around the next corner, because even if you're experiencing a down for some time, then you know you're continually hunting for assets. You're continuously searching for mental assets, and as a result of that continuous search for mental assets, then you continuously stick with the annoying times when your mind is outside having the walk and you don't feel necessarily right, and you want to keep turning corners and keep going outside and keep turning corners and keep wandering and walking and such things, because you know you're trying to find mental assets in different corners and different places to add to the mental mind map. And therefore your mind is always searching, it's always churning, it's always spinning, and it's always trying to develop a new engine to try to add value to the world by solving problems and adding global philanthropy energy to the global philanthropy energy grid. And it's always working in this fashion. When you turn on the mind map, the mental mind map of thoughts and vines and veins that are always connecting all of the different pathways of connections and conceptual connectivity to each other, by keeping the mindset open-minded to all of these conceptual mental assets, mindsets that are always conceptually flowing within yourself and outside of yourself, in a continuous reciprocal transactional relationship between yourself and the outside world as an individual or a group of people or a company or a group of friends or a circle of people or a circle of energy that's reciprocal, with an internal and an external relationship, and an internal and an external relationship that's always transactional upon one each other. And it's kind of like learning a new video game. It's kind of like learning a new marketplace. There's always new data, and it's necessary to continue to play the video game to be able to adjust and adapt and sort of flow and vibe with the game in essence, to be able to have the best data to be able to know the direction that you're supposed to flow based on what the market wants you to do, because you're listening to the market, you're listening to the external data, and trying to flow and go with that market data, try to add value and add the most value to the people and the processes and the energy and the demand energy within the market value that you want to speak to, whisper it to it like it's wind, like whispering to the wind. And so in conclusion, we're trying to actually conceptually, for the music aspect of Dinky Tech and Chase for Game Studios, and trying to develop more of a music brand in terms of trying to develop more music on a more consistent basis, if somehow possible. I don't know if it's ever going to actually be possible necessarily, but trying to step more into the mainstream if possible with some of this type of content and some more unfolding type of music that's random music, just similar to this podcast, but adding music to the background in essence, and also adding clips and different pieces so it actually can maybe melodically try to flow like different sounds and such things. We want to try to incorporate somehow a global collaboration mindset, where we're able to try to develop assets and video assets, digital assets is what I meant to say, to be able to develop collaboration, but where things similar to the Joseph Gordon-Levitt website, which is called Press Record, which has to do with global collaborations. In essence, different people pick up different aspects of the collaborations, but we're talking about doing that with tokenization and trying to maybe conceptually tokenize some of these podcasts or something like that in an audio format, so that we're able to also develop like some facet of like a management process, where the management and the marketing process for Dinky Tech and Chase for Game Studios can be parsed out by different activities, where different people are able to take on different lists of different activities, and we're tokenizing the correspondence to each activity to be able to energize and also ask for actions, sort of ask for actions into the world by asking for actions, and then at the same time being able to try to, on the back end of those actions, be able to develop sort of like having a cause and effect sort of relationship where there's like a reward almost like kind of built into it, and there's like almost like a coin or a tokenization aspect and an element where they're similar to like NFTs with new songs that are released. In terms of NFTs, new NFT songs are released, and then as a result of those NFT songs, certain people that are interested in corresponding to different aspects of interconnectivity in terms of the management and marketing and or development aspect of certain collaborations are able to pipe directly into the connection of a corresponding blockchain agreement, in essence, like a blockchain agreement to be able to develop productions in this fashion and continue to develop ongoing productions in this fashion as we continue to make podcasts and continue to try to make intellectual property and such things as we put it out. We want to also democratize it somehow and to make it available so somehow people can manipulate it and mess with it and also put out different types of IP somehow, if possible, to be able to connect with the people in the pipelines, in the veins, in the data, in the processes of developing like some of this tokenization process where we're able to connect with like a certain element of collaboration in this way. That would be sort of fun, and that's sort of what we're trying to get down with also, because there's like built-in incentivization somehow within the contracts of development, so that there's also on the back end like not like exactly royalties, but something like that, royalties, where there's kind of somewhat of a perpetual energy somewhat programmed into the contracts of these type of developments of continuous ongoing blockchain assets being developed in a big way by Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. It's a big corresponding correlation in the collaboration element and development of new products element and continuous just ongoing ways to try to innovate type of element. But whereas we're trying to actually have the management for Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios be managed maybe by a crowd of people as opposed to one person. Traditionally, it's one person that tends to manage these processes and such things. We want like maybe some element of the market to be able to decide and also be a collaborator in the process for the managing aspect of Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. And also Dinky Tech is trying to be somewhat of more of a music making entity, if you will, and also trying to step more out into the pipeline of people listening, and also like a mainstream element of trying to develop actions and awareness in a global fashion where we're able to try to leverage the NFT mindset and the NFT community and the digital asset community to be able to directly pipeline music into these pipelines, so that also there's a collaboration element and also a sound element and a conceptual development of marketing built into the product on the front end of the marketing, whereas we're developing a production with the marketing on the back end of it, because also the collaborators in the production in the front end are also marketers on the back end, but at the same time also organically, because they connect also to like groups of people and bodies of energies on the outside of themselves, which is external to myself and or Dinky Tech and or the nature of the exact product, the specific product itself, such as a song, such as a work of a couple of items that are packaged into a couple of songs, and or some like artwork or marketing actions that are taking place, for example, in an external sense, and then therefore there's compensation on the back end of a certain energy being able to be reached by a certain marketing element being able to be reached in a certain fashion, and so there's an incentivization for globalized elements of action taking, fun times to be able to be had by all and be sharing in this collaborative process that is this collaborative process anyway. It's a globally, mentally, centrally, focal collaboration effort to be able to try to unify and centralize all efforts for global, almost like flash mob philanthropy to be able to take place revolving around music and business music sound to develop a culture hopefully around this process and this podcast, for example, to be able to try to expand the energy and the nature of the energy and the energy of the nature of love, and all these things combine in the global philanthropy energy sort of mindset and global landscape and scape of time and global scape and landscape of humanity to be able to tokenize as many aspects of the management process as possible and marketing efforts and interesting processes that are able to continue to unify and innovate and unify and innovate and unify and innovate and unify and innovate and unify and innovate on top of each other. Unify and innovate, unify and innovate, unify and innovate on top of each other, and a compounding effect, and a compounding effect, and a compounding effect, and a compounding effect. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And a unifying, compounding collaborative effect. Compounding collaborative effect. Compounding collaborative effect. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Alright, thanks again. Bye. Dinky Tech, bye. Peace, bye. Dinky Tech, Change for Games. Dinky Tech, Change for Games Studios. Bye. Peace, bye.